Hi everyone, my name is Lucia Wang, and today we're going to talk about after a breakup, when am I ready to be in a new relationship? This is a very common question I hear, especially from people who have broken up with somebody and they've had time to heal and usually after they heal or they feel that they're ready for a new relationship. This is the question that they always ask: is when am I ready for a new relationship? And the answer is, I feel it all depends on how traumatized you are from the last relationship. And that will determine how long it takes to heal so that you become happy again. If you're still extremely emotional, angry, or sad about the past relationship, then you're not ready to get into another relationship yet. And this is worth repeating. It's important to realize that because there is not a perfect formula or a time frame when you're ready to get into a new relationship again. It's going to depend on how traumatized you are from the last relationship and how long it's going to take for you to heal it in order to be happy again. If you are extremely emotional, angry, or sad about the past relationship, then you're not ready to get into another relationship. So, as I was saying, there's no standard time or rule. Some people have formulas and rules saying that it takes anywhere from 6 months to even years to heal. I've heard people say they had this rule about, well, for so many years you're in a relationship, it's going to take this many months for you to heal. I used to believe that, and when I was younger, I actually subscribed to those kind of ideas and formulas. But from what I've for what I've learned and going through what I've gone through in life and relationships, that formula does not work. Um, and so I want to talk a little bit about that. It's different for everyone because, in my opinion, every relationship is unique. So that's why I don't think that formula or any formula is going to work because every relationship is different. Some are more traumatic than others after a breakup, and some are less. And some of them are not as traumatic as one that is, right? The most important thing to take whatever time is needed and do the necessary work to become happy. So let me just say that again. Take whatever time is needed and do the necessary work to become happy. My previous video talked about what to do when a relationship ends and the tips on how to survive a breakup. So if you haven't seen my last video, just last week I posted a video on how to survive a breakup. I would highly recommend that you first view that because this is kind of like a continuation of that last video from last week. So the same concept applies if you're single and looking for a partner. So whether, even if you're single and you may not have just gone out of breakup, I think what we're going to talk about today is extremely important and it applies to the singles people, for you people that are single out there. Happy is key because happy people are generally emotionally healthy, positive, and mentally well adjusted. Okay, so let me just say this again. So the same concept applies if you're single and looking for a partner. One of the things you want to look for is if your partner is genuinely happy most of the time. This is very, very important. Let me say this again. Whether you're single or looking for a partner, one of the things you want to look for is if your partner is genuinely happy most of the time. Happy is key because happy people are generally emotionally healthy, positive, and mentally well adjusted. So that's why I feel this is the best approach to measure, if you want to use that word, to see if you're ready and what to look for in somebody else in the future. So that's why I like to stay away from formulas and rules because it's going to be different depending on each relationship and each person involved. So the answer is, how do you know when you are ready? When you heal enough that you're happy. How do you know what kind of person to look for? If the person you're looking for is also happy. That's very, very important. And so this is going to go against a lot of the traditional views and opinions that people often offer when they get asked these kind of questions. And so I just want to throw it out there as my 3 cents, my opinion from my own experiences is that it's very important to to value happiness. Okay, the traditional advice is to ask new people you meet to find out how long it has been since their last long-term relationship. Right? This is the common advice that we always hear people say, that one of the questions that you have to ask somebody on a date is, when was the last time they were in a serious relationship? I think the better, more precise approach is not so much how long ago since their last relationship, but by observing how happy they are currently. After all, who wants to be around negative, miserable people? So, the reason why I think seeing if someone is happy is more important is because people's previous long term relationship could have ended years ago, but that doesn't guarantee they are now presently healed and happy. In fact, by spending enough time and engaging in conversation with your new partner, you will be able to determine if your partner is a happy person. So this is why I want you to think about this for a moment. You can't base it on the amount of time that someone has just ended a relationship, or how much time that's between now and the previous relationship. Because what if they were divorced, or let's say they separated from their last relationship 10 years ago? What if they just decided that, if the last relationship might have been 10 years ago, but does that mean that they've healed? See, you see, folks, we can't assume that just because the more time someone has put between their last relationship and now, that they're automatically healed and happy. That's a false way of thinking and looking at things. There's no guarantee until we get to know the person, right? But I can tell you, that's why we need to look at this carefully and really think about this. While it might be a measure, because obviously we don't want to date somebody who just got out of a relationship last night, and they're so emotionally, still tied to that last relationship that soon, to be to be establishing a new relationship, right? So we of course that's the extreme. We don't. It does have value to ask that question, but that's not all of it. We cannot base our decision whether to date a person or get involved with a person just because of the length of time that they had between now and the past relationship. That may be a good first starter question, but then you have to dig more into that, right? And while you're dating, it's not just asking questions, but you just have to kind of feel, there's a gut feeling that you have, right? You can just, as you're conversing with somebody, you can see how happy they are, right? Are they still blaming their last relationship? Are they playing the victim mentality where everything is always somebody else's fault in all their last relationships? I mean, these are things that you have to gauge when you're on a date. But so I just want to throw it out there that while that might be a one of the questions is to find out how long it's been, but I would not use that as the main measure, because what's more important is if they have healed and are happy. If they're not happy, they have not healed. And if they haven't healed, they're probably not happy. The two go hand in hand. Just keep that in mind. And that includes yourself. I know, I mean, I don't want to, don't be hard on yourself. Believe me, I've went through relationships in the past, in the younger years, where I didn't take time out to go to the next relationship. It's normal to feel that way when you're feeling down and you just got a relationship. It's normal to want to avoid the pain of healing and just go on to the next relationship, thinking that if you get involved with somebody else, that it will automatically heal everything that's happened, and that you'll automatically be a happy person. I'm here to tell you it does not work that way. We are just kidding ourselves, because obviously there's reasons why relationships ended, and it really is valuable to take the time out and figure out and analyze what happened and what you learned from that last relationship. Because if you don't do that, you will probably repeat the same pattern over again. So that's why I do encourage you to go check out my previous video on how to survive a breakup, because it does talk about the importance of healing, and so that you don't repeat the same mistake again. And it talks about how to heal, so that you how to survive and how to heal. So it does go into all that. So the reason why I think seeing if someone is happy is more important is because people's previous long-term relationship could have ended years ago, but that doesn't guarantee they are now presently healed and happy. This is exactly the point I just made. In fact, by spending enough time and engaging in conversation with your new partner, you will be able to determine if your partner is a happy person. Okay, so again, this is really, really important. I think we kind of miss that. And, but how you can guarantee, because I know the next question is, well, how do we know if the person's going to be truly happy? How do we know they're not just lying or they're faking it, right? They're putting up a face. Well, that's why we don't want to rush into relationships. We want to take the time. If you go back to my one of my earlier videos of the four stages in a relationship, I go over in detail the stages of a relationship, and each stage has its time and place, so that you don't rush into a relationship. And I know it is difficult because when you are every new relationship is exciting because it's a new person, it's a new experience. So anything that's new attached to it, it's always going to be exciting because there's a mystery that's around that newness, right? And we don't know who the person is, but we just feel happy because we're in a new relationship. But we got to be careful to balance our emotions so that we don't get caught up in the newness of the relationship and start putting all our eggs in a basket when we don't even know who that person really truly is. So we got to be a little smart and wise when we date. And so what I'm proposing is when you feel that you're ready and you feel that you're happy, you're healed and you're happy, when you go on a date, you just need to take the time to I still say, enjoy the feeling of happiness. Obviously, people who do fall in love, they're in love and they're just in the state of euphoria and they're extremely happy. They're on cloud nine, as you've heard me say. And by all means, I don't want to rain on your parade about that. By all means, absolutely enjoy that time, enjoy that romantic stage of the relationship. It's probably going to be the best stage of all the relationships. I mean, of all the stages. So definitely enjoy that romantic phase. But I just want to caution you, you need to balance that out with taking your time and having the patience to ask the right questions and get to know that person very well. And on the first few dates, you'll be able to tell if that person's happy. Because and even if they try putting up a front for a couple weeks, right? Let's say they try to act happy, they're joking and they're trying to be humorous and make you laugh. That's fine, but we all know even a liar cannot keep up that front for too long. If you just take the time out to observe the person, hear what they're saying. Sometimes they could be smiling, but the words coming out of their mouth can indicate to you that they haven't healed yet and they're not happy people. For instance, if they spend their whole date telling you how awful their last relationships were, or everything was the ex's fault, right? All their ex relationships somewhat ended the same way. He calls it bad luck, or he thinks women are crazy, whatever, right? Whatever excuse he has. But you'll notice that's just one example, right? There's other examples, but I'm just giving one example. If that's all you're hearing while they're smiling, right? They're smiling at you on the date and they're telling you how awful their exes are. That's a red flag. That should be a red flag, and you need to realize people that are happy and healed, they have worked through their past relationships. They've taken personal responsibility for their part in the relationships. Folks, let me tell you, there's never one person at fault. It takes two people in a relationship, two people to tango, to argue. Okay? So if when a relationship fails, it's because of the two people. Now, even if the person, let's say the person cheated on you, or they've done the most horrendous thing, but the question is, why did you pick that person, right? If your last boyfriend cheated on you, what is it about him that attracted him to you? See, this is where we have to dig more. And I'm not saying it's well, actually what I am saying, it's not all one person's fault. Even if you even if your last relationship was mostly at fault, okay, let's give them 90%. 10% is still yours because you picked that person. Nobody chained your feet to that person, right? Nobody blackmailed you or coerced you to date that person and carry on a months and or weeks, months and years of a toxic relationship. You chose to put yourself in that relationship. So that's why that's why healing and coming to terms with your last relationship is so important, because because if you believe that it's all somebody else's fault, that means you have not taken personal responsibility for your own action in the relationship, right? That's very, very important. So just keep that in mind when you're dating. And if you date, the things he says, if you can't tell by his face, listen to what he says very closely. Often women don't realize this, but because they so desperately want to be in that relationship, and they're so in love with their guy, that they're not listening to what the guy is saying. And some may even take it like, oh, it's a compliment that he's actually being vulnerable and telling me how he feels and how he didn't like his other past relationships, so that makes me feel special. Ladies, do not take the bait. Do not kid yourself in thinking that just because he's unloading on you and telling you all the horrid stories about his past and how it's all their fault, that you're somehow the one exception out of the who knows how many people that they've dated. Think about that, right? If he hasn't taken responsibility, that you just somehow magically all these bad women that he ended up with, and it's all their fault. Don't think for a second that if you break up with him or your relationship ends, that he's not going to tell, that you're not going to be lumped in with the rest of the women. You'll be part of that past that he will view as your fault. So because I think that's part of the problem. Sometimes, we have egos too, and we think, wow, we're different, we're special, we're not going to be like their ex, or we may start feeling sorry for the person. Oftentimes when people are airing out their laundry, their dirty laundry, and they're telling you all their woes and how they're the victim of all these bad women, part of it is because I think it's a form of manipulation. Also, they're trying to get you to feel sorry for them. And so somehow, once you take the bait, you feel sorry for them, then then that's what they want, right? And so if you feel sorry for them, then you're gonna think that you're special, more special than all those other bad women, supposedly, right? That you're gonna be the one woman that's gonna be the best person for him, and he'll never ever ever leave you. That is a false sense of security. I hate to tell you. And if you've had those kind of relationships, then you can probably confirm what I'm saying here. And so it's very important, and I caution you all women, enjoy enjoy the friendship, enjoy getting to know somebody. And that's why on one of my first videos, how to find the right partner, I emphasize the value of friendship. When you're dating somebody, get to know that person completely. You can it's okay to feel, if you fall in love and you feel like there's some kind of chemistry or attraction, that's fine. That's a good thing, actually. But you have to make sure you do the rest of the stages of the relationship. Okay, you need to go through all the four stages of the relationship, and you need to get to know somebody very, very well. And and what I'm in today's talk, the most important thing that I want to impress upon you guys is to look to see if the person is happy. They cannot hide behind, they can't fake it for too long if they are faking it. I don't want to say everyone that I don't want to say that, people are trying to fake it. Sometimes people aren't even aware that they're unhappy, right? I don't want to say that there's a motive just because a guy tells you about his past. However, given the benefit of the doubt to him, even if he's not doing it from a strategic standpoint, let's say he's not trying to manipulate you, but it could just be that just hasn't gotten over his exes. And that's the whole thing. What I'm trying to say here is that how you can tell if someone is healed and happy is if they're happy. Happy people are not going to sit there all day and keep talking about all the bad things that's happened to them, all these negative things. Happy people don't operate that way. Happy and healed people have truly healed, where they've taken personal responsibility of their past relationship. And this goes for you too, not just your partner, but today I'd like you to take some time and examine your own life and your own heart. have you been in the pattern of just moving from one relationship to the next, or have you given yourself a break in between relationships to actually maybe get counseling and heal and learn the lessons from your last relationship? Because the same works in reverse, right? If you're not healed, then it wouldn't be in the best interest for someone that is healed to seek a relationship partner with you who's not healed. So it works both ways. And I just want to throw that out there, that it's this is very this subject of being happy is so important. And so, like I said, it doesn't matter how long it's been since they were with their last person. It could have been a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, 9 years ago. Doesn't matter. That could be the first opening question, but questions that follow need to be centered upon getting to know somebody and just listening to what they're saying. See, oftentimes us women love to talk, right? We actually talk more than men, but and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're on a date, especially on the first few dates, when you're getting to know somebody, try to speak less. You know that people I've heard it said God gave us. That's why God gave us two ears and one mouth, right? And that's because God gave us ears so we can listen and maybe speak less. And that might be a challenge for a lot of us women because I know us women, we just, that's one of our strengths. We have the gift of gab, right? So on a date, I would recommend that you try, try to listen more and talk less. Let the guy talk about whatever he wants to talk about. But you can definitely ask questions to maybe to guide the conversation, and that's fine. And definitely share of your own life as well. Definitely, I think there should be a mutual exchange of information, right? So, in summary, the two main points in today's discussion are: after a breakup, you are ready to date when you have worked on healing your own issues and are now happy. The second point is: if you're looking for a new relationship, take enough time to discern if your new partner is a happy person. Okay, so let me just repeat those two main points again. After a breakup, you are ready to date when you have worked on healing your issues and are now happy. If you're looking for a new relationship, take enough time to discern if your new partner is a happy person. So I hope you take these two things into seriously before you think of going into another relationship. I also want to add here right now that if you are if you're at the point where you think that you're ready to go into a new relationship, maybe take time out to get my book, Kissing Frogs No More: The Secret of Finding Prince Charming. This book is also for men as well. It's not just gender specific. So you men out there, you guys, if you think you're ready to find your new girlfriend or new girl, please check out my book. I wrote this book during the time when I was 9 years in the dating field, when I was doing online dating for about 8 to 9 years. I learned a lot during that period of time. And so this book, I've shared a lot of the things I've learned in that book, in this book. And in this book, I go over how to date, what to look for in a partner, how to find the right partner. And also definitely check out my previous videos on how to find the right partner. I already have, there's several of the videos that I've made out there already that does talk about what a healthy relationship is, and how to find the right person, and the 4 stages of a relationship. I think many of those videos would be very helpful for you as you get ready to go on to your next chapter of your life. Okay, so I hope this resonates with you guys. I hope you find it helpful, and I wish you guys love and luck on your new relationships. And if please feel free to click like and click share if you do like this video. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments area of below. and please subscribe to my channel. This way you can keep posted of all my videos that are going to be happening in the future. So with that said, I love you guys. You know, have a great happy time on your next adventure in dating, and I will see you again soon. Okay.